From TFCon 2024, this is the TFCon exclusive Mastermind Creations Ocular Max Eris Lunacyte. Essentially, this is their version of Galvatron that is being done through their Eris character. Eris is, from what I remember, like a shape-shifting character. They basically use the character to do woman versions of Tarn, and then they did an Armada Megatron. Now they've done Galvatron. You can see, here's artwork of the figure here. Got Unicron in the back, Lunacyte down here. And then that's the rest of the dust sleeve. Pulling that up. Boop. Oh wait, it's getting stuck here. There we go. We have Infinity? Yeah, that's Infinity. The Dimensions Bridge. You have kind of their Galvatron, and it's in the grid pattern that we associate with when Megatron was reborn. Again, Lunacyte. By the way, that's subjugation, but it could also be a Subjecticon. Keep that in mind. Here we just have artwork of the head. We have a cool little shot of them going from tank to robot mode. So, Lady Eris is a bot with the outlier ability that the mad scientist Pisexis experimented on. He took her ability to mimic any combatant and enhanced it. Lady Eris' outlier ability can now transmogrify her exoskeleton along with giving her the same set of skills of any combatant. Since she is a fan of the strong gladiators in the battle pits, she's often seen mimicking a pit champion's skills and body types while conducting secret assassination missions for Pisexis as his top agent. Basically, that's just the lore that they've given their characters. They're all third-party Transformers. When you open the box, the figure is going to be in this double plastic tray. The gun is going to be packaged separately, and then you're going to have the directions and a card in a different Ziploc. Let's actually get the figure fully out. This is how Lunacyte looks as soon as they're out of the box. You can see there's no gun, and you do have to transform the figure just a little bit more. Specifically, you got to move the back kibble up and finish folding out the forearms. But even straight out of the box with no gun, this is such an amazing looking figure. There's a lot of die cast, especially in the lower body, and the figure is painted and sculpted beautifully. The figure is covered head to toe in beautiful silver and purple paint, alongside white and red paint to break up the overall look. The proportions are completely on point. Even the massive shoulders just give the figure a greater sense of visual weight. I am really impressed, especially considering this figure is only about $120. For third party, that's not a terrible amount. That's actually on the lighter side of things. Mastermind Creations, they don't do Masterpiece. They do IDW-inspired lines, and really, this is basically like mainline Transformers taken to their absolute zenith. Like every figure was given the engineering budget of a Commander-class figure. And it really shows with Lunacyte. You get a massive toy, easily leader class, if not commander class in terms of its size, and it is just an absolute joy to play with. It is almost too easy to find a good, fun pose for this figure, and when you actually break down how many joints the toy has, it's actually insane. So, just taking a look at Lunacyte here, right? Let me straighten them out a bit. Here we go. So, if we start up top, we have a ball joint at the head as well as a hinge that takes you back and forth. The head has an amazing amount of range. You want to be careful because of the crown, but you have so much mobility right there in the neck. Then you have a butterfly joint in the shoulder, mixed in with a universal here on the side, as well as a swivel and like a peg-in joint, and you have up and down here. The shoulder has a very odd connecting due to transformation, but because of that, you have multiple different joints all working in for shoulder mobility. You have an elbow swivel, as well as an elbow joint, single jointed, gets you just past the 90. You have a wrist swivel, but then check out these fingers. So the thumb, ball joint for the thumb at the base, and then a hinge. Each of these fingers, you have a hinge at the bottom joint, a hinge in the middle joint, and a hinge in the top knuckle. So you can make fists, or you can do whatever you want with the fingers. So in the hands alone, how many joints would you have? So you'd have 12, 15, 16, 17. You'd have 17 points of articulation just in the hand. Getting into the torso, you have abdomen. It goes that far forward and that far back. You also have a waist swivel down in the hips, You have a universal again. That said, because of the pelvic design, it kind of forms a V. It's a little bit awkward. You can use the transformation joint if you want, but you honestly get enough as is. Down here in the knee, look at that. Single joint, but you go all the way back. Awesome. You do have a break here in the middle of the leg. Go side to side. Same thing down here in the ankle. And then you have back and forth at the foot and a toe joint. That is insane. There's literally more points of articulation here than on multiple Transformers put together. Of course, that's what the budget allows for. That's what Mastermind Creations goes for. But you have just an insane amount of mobility with this figure. Getting an up-close look, I just adore the head sculpt. This is what made me want to find this figure, is just how perfectly they have found this awesome manic energy with this character in this figure. The big laughing face works just wonderfully, and I love how they captured the curvature and odd shapes of Galvatron's helmet. It's not a one-for-one. It's stylized, it's going for its own thing with this Eris character, but it's there, and I think it just looks spectacular. But let's say you're not a big fan of this smiling face. Well, just lift the head back, get your thumb underneath the chin, and pull the face out. There we go. And then you can replace it with this much more sour-looking expression. Dupe. It is a little hard to finagle it around the helmet, but if you get it at just the right angle, it slides on, and boom. Now you have a much more stoic-looking face. I love this too. I actually don't know which face I'm going to keep on the figure because I think they both just look spectacular, and they have such different energies about them. But of course, it wouldn't be Galvatron without an arm cannon. And that's what we have here. I love this. It's a little bit of G1, a little bit of toy. You got silver paint here on the ridge. A good looking actual body for the gun. And then the translucent orange for the cannon. If you look on either arm, there's a tab there. A slot here. You just put it on. And boom. Now we have Galvatron, or rather I should say Lunacyte, with the cannon. Pop on the serious face and you have a real sense that this is an ultimate manipulator. The type of character that could justifiably lay claim to the title of Big Bad. Or of course you could put on the happy face and have her bully Cyclonus, as Galvatron is often wont to do. In all honesty, it doesn't really matter what you do or what energy you go for, this figure is probably gonna be able to achieve it. It is a very versatile figure with a great amount of range, not just in how it can emote, but how it can be utilized in a collection. There's only one real issue I have with this figure, and it's the back kibble. I love what it does for the silhouette. I think it really does bulk Lunacyte up. That said, just the fact that it's right there really brings to mind the fact that there isn't kibble on the rest of the figure. It kind of juts out now. Alongside that, it does make the figure somewhat back heavy. Even though good diecast in the legs can help balance it out, there's still a little bit of issue when it comes to just getting Lunacyte in some more extreme poses. That said, when that's my biggest complaint, I don't think there's much to really knock on this figure. I could see someone complaining about how the shoulders are set up, but they give you such a wide range of articulation through that weird setup that I actually think it's fine. Other than that, it's just a really good, really fun, really solid figure. Truth be told, I might so go far as to say it's the best Galvatron in my entire collection. Granted, I don't have many, but she's definitely at the top of the list. For anyone curious, here she is alongside Kingdom Cyclonus and Studio Series 86 Scourge. I love the scale here. This looks perfect. She is with Legacy Needlenose alongside Earthrise, Runamuck, and Runabout. So some late G1 weirdos who, honestly, all of them would probably look good on an IDW Decepticon shelf. Speaking of IDW, here she is with Combiner Wars Ultra Magnus and the Flame Toys IDW Rodimus model kit. I think they look spectacular together. These are all very IDW flavored. What the heck? Here she is with Make Toys Hurricane. Definitely doesn't scale as well as Kingdom Cyclonus, but let's be fair, we are comparing it to a deluxe. Here she is with not just another Mastermind Creations figure, but another TFCon exclusive, that being the prototype Azalea. I love these two figures. They are two of my absolute favorites in my collection right now. Really, it's just confirming even more to me that I need to check out more Mastermind's creation stuff. And then the comparison I've been the most excited for, here she is alongside Kingdom Galvatron and Red Galvatron. Now, I'll say this, Kingdom Galvatron is not a favorite of mine. I've never really liked him. He was actually kind of a letdown after how much I liked Cyclonus and Scourge. Red Galvatron has been my display Galvatron, and I still really like him, but he's just too short. Lunacyte, yeah, there's no contest here for me. I feel very comfortable saying she is my favorite Galvatron in my collection. I mean, just look at the difference in presentation here. And hey, why not? Let's compare it to two more third-party Galvatrons. Here she is with the Open and Play Big Cannon, that guy, and Dr. Wu's Micromaster Galvatron. And yeah, I'll say it again, best Galvatron in my collection. You do have to de-transform her to make it work, but she can even go in the Studio Series Starscream Throne. Looks incredible there. I've been gushing about this robot mode way too much. Why don't we actually check out vehicle mode now? I mean, seriously, she does look sick. Transformation, for the most part, is great. Incredibly clever with a great deal of intuitive engineering. I would expect nothing less from Mastermind Creations. That said, there was some finickiness here, especially when it came to just completely closing up the tank. There's a lot of panels involved. It's almost like a souped up version of RC. Almost all the transformation was in the shoulders, but you still had a lot of really cool steps. I love how this tank looks. It almost looks more like a jet fighter just landed on top of a tank, but I dig it. It's a great future tank, and it does invoke Galvatron's tank mode. My favorite thing about this tank, though, functioning treads. I know that Transformers has done this before, but I'd be hard-pressed to actually tell you when they did it. It's such a little feature, but it's so nice. It was hard for me not to bring this up in robot mode because I am enjoying just kind of using this as a fidget toy. Overall, I may not be as big on the vehicle mode as I am the robot mode, but it's still good. And it is an excellent cherry on top of what was already one of the best Transformers experiences I've ever had. It's already been an amazing year for Transformers, for me and in general. I feel like I've been saying a lot lately that this is a really good Transformer experience, that this could be a figure of the year for me, and it's because there's been a lot of home runs as of late. But I'll be honest, I think Lunacyte is the single one that I can point to and say, if there is going to be a singular Transformer of the year for me, it's probably going to be this one. Lunacyte is an incredible figure. Accessories, paint, sculpting, transformation, articulation, there's not a single thing I can knock on her. Now, there's a few different ways to get this mold. You have the Tarn version, which I believe is the original Eris. They did an Armada Megatron-inspired one, and this is the TFCon exclusive Galvatron, but it's currently up for pre-order elsewhere. The TFCon exclusive is more of an early figure as opposed to a true exclusive, and that's my favorite type because that means I can make a video like this, and if you enjoyed it, there's a way to get this figure down the line. I would wholeheartedly recommend this Galvatron, this Eris, to anyone who's just interested in good, fun toys, even if they don't exactly fit into the established canon. This is a figure that relishes in being goofy. It is pure, unadulterated fun, and I couldn't recommend it more.